All right, everyone, I think we might have a winner in the contest on the left for who's the most disgraceful right now in the wake of a week of nonstop rioting and looting and thuggery and vandalism and arson. Ilhan Omar comes out, I think, on top with the most despicable hot takes. Like, remember, the White House was locked down the other night, briefly. It was locked down because probably, if I had to guess, and we're probably not going to hear the official classified story right away, it's more than just some people throwing rocks and burning a couple tires out in front of the White House. The fact is that a combination of the crowd getting to a capacity where they could have feasibly caused maybe damage to the exterior security features of the White House, the possibility of infiltration, of course, of a violent mob being in proximity to the president, could lead to some terrorist act. Someone blows themselves up. They use it as an excuse to get close to the security perimeter, blow themselves up, kill a bunch of agents or something. Or they received a credible threat, which is, I think, the most likely. Someone, they suspected somebody with explosives was approaching or something. And they locked the White House down. Now, Trump didn't make the call. Trump wouldn't have been given a choice because he's literally an asset of the people. He would have been bodily dragged down into the bunker with his family. And I'm sure it was very surreal. Probably for the first time, he was maybe even a little bit concerned. Although he's probably seen the bunker before. He strikes me as the sort of person that would go down there and have decorating tips. Like, oh, I want this chair gilded in silver or something like that. Just sort of the way I imagine him. sort of a strongman business approach, but it's rather funny. But Ilhan Omar decided to retweet that and was talking about, how funny it was, and compare this to the Obama White House, and it's a picture of the Obama White House when gay marriage was legalized nationwide, when they lit it up in rainbow colors. That's very, very funny to me, because number one, the insinuation, I guess, of Obama as some sort of progressive champion when he was a civil union Democrat and his only contribution to that cause was standing out of the way of DOMA being repealed. That doesn't make sense, number one. Number two, she's missing the point. The point is that you have insurrection going on in the capital of the United States, and that the people who by and large support people like Ilhan Omar, certainly preferentially to support for Trump, have become so violent and mindlessly thuggish that they literally caused a high-level security incident at the White House. This is the first time, apparently, that the White House was fully locked down since the late 1800s. That's at least the claim that I heard. Now, I have to assume that maybe, like during the Cuban Missile Crisis or something, there were times when they rushed somebody off to a bunker and maybe didn't even tell anybody about it, but it's been a while. Or maybe some of the scares of the 70s, Soviet Union standoffs and so forth, the escalation of the 80s, post-Star Wars, but it's been a while. Or 9/11, that would be the other one. Maybe when they had that quake in DC. What the fuck year was that anyway? Like 2011? I don't know, I'm losing track of time and my mind from having to analyze people like Ilhan Omar all the time. But I just thought it was totally disgraceful. Here you've got a sitting House of Representatives member is almost applauding the fact that violent miscreant hordes have caused enough damage and loss of life, actually. Some people have been killed at these riots, that they caused the White House to be locked down. Now explain to me, 20 years ago, if this would have been considered acceptable for anyone in the House or Senate. No, she would have been removed the next day by her own party. It would have been considered a disgrace. The response would be on the nightly news. Even like 10 years ago, probably would have caused a rebuke. It would have caused massive problems. We've gotten to the point where the standards are so low for political discourse, and they blame this on Trump, but it really has nothing to do with him. Precedes his presidency by a good clip. It's basically, you get the government that's comprised largely of the people. Well, the people at large have delved into the social media era, and it's become pitchfork-waving mobs, usually for political discourse. In one sense, therefore, Ilhan Omar, in her style of tweeting, is not that much different from a Trump, or even like fucking John Cornyn trolls people at this point. That's not the problem. The specific reference that she's making, acting as though a potentially credible threat, because they're not going to lock down the White House. It's got 1,000 dudes in front of it to defend it unless there's a real good damn reason. Almost applauding the fact that some of her own constituents, because people like Ilhan Omar are the ones throwing their piss and Molotovs at things, applauding the fact that the President of the United States was endangered to the point of a White House lockdown. That you normally hunker in the bunker at the White House is 9/11 or Cuban Missile Crisis sort of stuff. This is a significant security threat. Again, Ilhan Omar apparently is ignorant of the fact that these protests and riots could easily be infiltrated by some Russian sleeper agent with a briefcase nuke, who otherwise wouldn't be able to get close enough to do damage or something. That sort of thing sounds like a spy versus spy novel, or what some fucking sniper uses the fact that the security forces there are distracted to take a pot shot at Trump through a window while he's watching the protests from 3 blocks away. How the fuck do you protect the president in a situation where the normal security is not available? Normal security inside and out has been disrupted by a group of people that could attempt to breach the barrier around the White House. If that were to happen, that would be the perfect opportunity for someone who's either a psychopath or some foreign agent to take a shot. Of course they dragged him into a bunker. I'm not fucking surprised. I guarantee Trump himself didn't make the call. I guarantee it was whoever was heading the security service detail at the time. They're the ones who made the call. These liberals, nuts as they are, and Omar being one of the big ones there, oh, Trump shows a failure of leadership. He's cowering in a bunker right now. What an opportunistic fucking hack you have to be to construe it that way. So in other words, most of the people who have D's after their name in Congress don't understand the security procedures that protect them in D.C. They don't understand anything about these things. They think that Trump unilaterally decides to waddle down into a bunker to drink Coca-Cola because people are angry and burning a car outside. You really think that that's the way that it works? Well, then you're either extremely dumb or you're a virtue signaling hack. I think it's a combination, in her case, of the two. Yeah, so I award her, she's won another award for most disgraceful take of any person in the legislature in regards to that particular event. And, you know, her rolling coverage, just like Biden's or Pelosi's of the riots, is basically to ramble about how Trump is smashing up innocent protesters, he's an authoritarian and a bigot, and he hates black people. They're not even mincing words now. They're just straight up calling him a racist at this point. Like it was fashionable among the neolibs, at least, like the Pelosi crowd, to allude to the fact that he was bigoted. But they didn't use the R word. Now they don't give a fuck. You know, they're like sharks that think that they're smelling blood in the water. Really, Trump has dumped some chum in, and he's sitting there with a harpoon gun, but, you know, they've taken the bait. He gave him a couple days to embrace these riots so that people can see burning cars on TV, and then he can come out and sweep the Democrats away, I think. I'll be analyzing that separately. I think that Trump will have a temporary dip in his approval. I think that it will stubbornly climb back up, and these people won't understand why until they think, maybe it's the fact that I was praising arsonists. Maybe it's the fact that these groups of people that I was cheering have been exposed as being explicitly politically antagonized by, oh shit, people who support me in the legislature. Whoops. That's about all. Peace out.